Wesley United Methodist Church, a place of love, Christ's love for us, and our love for Him, a place of caring for one another, of sharing joys and God's blessings, a place of comfort during times of suffering and sorrow.
There is something very special about Wesley Church. Wesley Church has been a part of the Vienna community for over 100 years. It has been here at this site for almost 40 years. During those years, Wesley has touched the lives of tens of thousands of God's children. Some have spent their entire lives as part of the Wesley family. Couples have been married. Babies have been born. Babies, children, youth, and adults have been baptized. Funerals and memorial services have been celebrated. Youth have grown up learning about God's love and that He has a purpose for their lives. Within these walls, Christians have gathered together in fellowship and love. Many have found strength and comfort from God's Word and hope in His promise of salvation. At Wesley today, much as it was 10, 30, even 100 years ago, Christians gather together to worship the Lord and to reach out and help the poor, the suffering, and the needy in our community, around us, and throughout the world. The Lord truly has blessed us here at Wesley.
Wesley not only is special to me, it really is the center of my life. And I guess for one reason, it's the Christian church, and therefore it would be the center of my life. But since we've been here since 1955, that makes it. Our roots are very deep in Vienna and equally deep at Wesley Church.
I like walking in the door. I mean, that's like coming home. You know, you're greeted by people you know and people you don't know, and it's just a real warm feeling. The whole service is wonderful. The choir is marvelous. Bill is excellent, but just the closeness of being together with everyone. It's a church family. You laugh together, you cry together. It's just a family.
What I find most fulfilling for me about the worship experience here is the sense of congregation and fellowship that there is within the sanctuary. When I sit there and I look around and I see people that I've seen for years, as well as the new people that come in, I'm filled with a real sense of God's love.
Oh, it's definitely the people here, the family atmosphere, the fellowship with the members. It's not the building or the place, the location, or anything like that. It's the Wesley family. I mean, everybody here is part of a big family, and it's a real warm and caring place.
And for us, we moved here. We have no family, no relatives here, so the church and the friends that we've made through the church have become our family.
Well, I think the beauty of our sanctuary with the formal parts of the service combined with the music allows me personally to have a pensive, reflective island in my week. I have so many demands and so many desires and needs that I have to fulfill in a week that I need that island. I need that time to simply worship.
I think it came to me once when I attended a funeral here that this is a place where people come not only when they have joy but when they have hurts. And there's a real group of people here that care about each other. And I'd also say that it's what you get out, what you put in. And if you don't put much in, just like anything else, it's not very good to expect to get a lot out of it.
The Scout program at Wesley, I feel, is a very important part of the scout for this troop, and it has a certain style that we've never really had in the troop before. It kind of brings together a lot of the things of the church and the morals from scouting. It feels like another family.
The most important thing about Wesley United Methodist Church to me is the people that I met there, like my Sunday school teacher and my youth group leader, and all my friends that I made there.
Well, I think the missions and outreach are important in the church because they measure the vitality and the commitment and the conviction of the church beyond its own facility and its own members. And in that respect, I think Wesley's had a pretty diversified program.
Prayer chain is wonderful. It's really wonderful, and the response you get, and you, when you are or have someone in your family that you know that you put on the prayer chain, you can feel it. You can truly feel it, because we went through kind of a bad year last year, and it was wonderful. You can feel the prayers, and you can feel the people lifting you up, and it's great. It's a giant hug, and it's right from God.
Wesley's just, for me, as a relatively new member, been such a warm, friendly environment. I mean, it's the people, the church. To me, a church is a community. It's the people that make it. And the people that have been here at Wesley have just welcomed me so warmly that that's what I think makes it.
As the children's song says, we are the church. Wesley Church is more than just a building and a steeple. It is a tool for God's work. It is a place where people work together, giving generously of their time, talents, and gifts, enriching each other, our community, and the world for the glory of God. Today, Wesley Church is embarking on a capital campaign to retire a $450,000 debt incurred during renovations to our facilities in the last 2 years. Our goal is to retire this debt in 3 years so that the mission of Wesley can expand, unhindered by the need to make costly interest payments. Why is this necessary? Why did we borrow so much money? To answer these questions, we need to go back 3 years to 1989. A survey of the church facilities had revealed that considerable maintenance and renovation were needed throughout the church to preserve the facility for full use in the future. Furthermore, we were told that the asbestos in our church had to be removed. Estimates for the asbestos removal alone exceeded $250,000. At that time, we as a church agreed to make the needed repairs and renovations on a pay-as-you-go basis. Then we had the fires. 2 fires were set within 3 weeks of each other. We easily could have lost the church. We have God to thank that the damage was not more extensive. This was a stressful time for Wesley. There were hard decisions to make. For example, it didn't make sense to only repair the fire damage and to incur the extra expense of tearing much of it out and repairing it all over again when we removed the asbestos at some later time. And yet we did not have the money needed to do all the work at once either. We struggled hard to find a consensus on what to do. there was disagreement and some dissension. But God led us through this, and strong, dedicated Christian leadership emerged, telling us that we can do this. Working together, we can do it. God's strength was surely flowing among us. We came together on this, and the congregation voted to make all the repairs, the costly asbestos removal, and the planned renovations at the same time. A capital campaign was conducted to help raise funds, and money was borrowed from the bank to pay for the expenses not covered by fire insurance. In the ensuing months, the church was physically renovated such that there wasn't a wall that didn't have at least a fresh coat of paint or a floor that was not recovered. Asbestos has been removed where needed. In the sanctuary, the wood ceiling has been sealed and waxed, new carpeting installed, and walls painted. The fellowship hall has been refurbished with new floor tile, ceiling, paint, and drapes. The offices were moved to the education building and expanded to include more space and better facilities. Classrooms have been painted, new carpeting installed, and air conditioning added. New drainage systems were installed and old drainage systems replaced where needed. Roof repairs have been made and a new steeple lighting system installed. The grounds have been landscaped, trees trimmed, and a year-round lawn care program implemented. The lounge has been restored. New libraries for adults and children have been created. The kitchen has been refurbished. The playground has been upgraded and the parking lot resealed and repainted, and much more. Today, the work is finished. Once again, we have a beautiful church in better shape than it has ever been. For the glory of God, together we did it. And not only has our facility been restored, our congregation has been renewed. The trials and tribulations, the hard work, the struggle to find God's will has brought us closer together. This capital campaign provides another opportunity for God to unite us in our dedication and sacrifice for Christ.
I'm sure you remember, as I do mine, your confirmation as a member of the church, the body of Christ. My experience was about 60 years ago, and it began as a journey of faith, a journey of promise, a journey of excitement for me. I remember very vividly the words of the pastor as we took the vows of church membership, and I remember that final question that the pastor asked us that day, addressed to me and to the confirmands. Will you be loyal to the Methodist Church and uphold it with your prayers, your presence, your gifts, and your service? Each of us has been asked that question, and I have asked it of hundreds of persons since. Our response, I will, is a commitment to God through Christ and the church. It is our promise to be the best that we can be in the context of our understanding of our faith, as God has called us to be His servants and to share His love. In keeping that promise and commitment, it seems to me it is important that we acquire discipline and guidance, and these, I believe, are best discovered in prayer, in worship, and in acts of loving service. Surely, only God knows our full potential for giving, and surely it is our responsibility and privilege to discover within ourselves our potential for giving. And so, as we seek to discover our potential for giving in the context of our faith, let me share with you some words that I hope you will always remember. They have been recorded in the Gospel according to Luke and come from the lips of Jesus. Give to others, and God will give to you. You will receive a full measure, a generous helping, poured into your hands. All that you can hold, the measure you use for others, is the one God will use for you. So let us truly seek to discover our potential for giving as we share God's love so wonderfully.
Friends, these are exciting and challenging days in our church. I am the church. You're the church. We are the church together. Your decision about your commitment to the future of Wesley is vitally important. I challenge you to do the extraordinary. Take responsibility for the future of Wesley. Make a sacrificial gift. Be a positive influence through your commitment. May the Lord bless you for all that you mean to Him and His church. And may God's love for you and your love for God, Wesley Church, and each other glorify Him through us in the days ahead.
The founders of Wesley Church had a vision of a church that would last far beyond their lifetimes, where people could come together to worship and serve the Lord, to find strength and renewal, and through which they could minister to the lost, the seeking, to the poor and the suffering, as Christ has taught us to do. Let's all work together to make sure that Wesley United Methodist Church will be here for God's work far beyond our own lifetimes. Wesley United Methodist Church, a place of love, of caring, and sharing. Capture the vision.